Okay, so you basically got your pot now. You've got roughly a 6mm slot in there, sort of thing. Just enough to give you drainage when it's sitting on the ground, and when the water, you do your flushing sort of thing going through the top. Now we want to, and you see these lines here, it's halfway up, 3/4 of the way up. Basically we're going to try and fill up with the poly to basically 1 jar distance away from the top, basically, and then we're going to cap it with some tissue paper sort of thing. So get that out of the way for the time being. Hopefully we're in shot, because there's nothing worse than me pouring this thing. Not quite. I'll be about there. And we're going to pour in here, and we're going to try and get up to, hopefully we've got enough beans for this, I don't know. Play it by ear, do it by eye, and see if we've got enough. It might be enough. Tamp it down a bit. We've got enough for 1 jar's worth, so we want to be and we do want it to settle down a little bit, so we get enough to, in summer, flood the pot at the top and let it slowly soak down through the medium when we do the double flush sort of thing. Okay, so normally it's peat and sand. Normally the sand is quartzite sand. Now the important thing about quartzite sand, it has very low to nil cation exchange capacity, but it does have pore space in there, about 10% pore space, which gives the impression, a bit like vermiculi, of having somewhat of a cation exchange capacity. So, you know, coir and peat and newspaper cellulose can stick salts to it like iron filings to a magnet to about 1/4 of the volume. In other words, 250 grams per litre sort of thing. Over time, it takes about 6 weeks. I think that might just be about it, I think. Just enough. You might want to think about this for Darlingtonia. If you're doing Darlingtonia, so you can have, you know, a layer of coir, peat, newspaper cellulose, all sorted up, of course. Put your plants in the top, and it will, as the moisture goes through the coir, etc., it will cool itself off like a cool gull, you say, and go into the nether regions of the pot, being nice and cool. And because the polycyans are excellent insulator, it will keep that water cool, even if the sunlight is on the side of the pot for the central core bit, a couple of inches in. It will maintain that cool moisture for quite a while. And of course, if you're flushing every, I don't know, 2 hours, and if it's a 48-degree day or something. Now what we want to do is sort of put it up to the lip sort of thing, so we have a nice covering there, so we don't have to cut it off with a pair of scissors. We can just simply do that sort of thing. Go around like this. If we've got enough tissue paper, I'm probably going to run out with this. I think I've got the impression I'm going to run out, so I'm probably going to have to run back into the house and get some more. And so you do this on the edge. You can always trim it, of course. And of course, over time, this will it will slowly rot down, and you'll just have your coir, your peat, your newspaper cellulose, or whatever, your sawdust if you're using sawdust, because sawdust has nitrogen drawdown, of course, a bit like newspaper cellulose thing. Of course, you've got to ask yourself, why are we using all these brown woods, the peats, the coirs, the bark chips? Well, that's because that's where all the nitrogen is, of course. Yeah, because then you've got to ask, you know, how do you get the nitrogen out of the peat, the coir, the newspaper cellulose, the bark chip sort of thing? What happens in nature to draw that nitrogen? And it basically becomes the tannins, of course, what draws that out of the bark chip, the peat, the coir, and so on, and therefore the plant get access to it. Of course, then you ask the question, because there's plenty of nitrogen around, because the whole bog is green, it's not yellow, it's not going yellow to white. You know, nitrogen is the major nutritional component of botany, of course, of plants in general. So if they're starving of nitrogen, all the bogs should be yellow and paling out, but they never are. No one's ever asked the scientific method question of, you know, how come the plants aren't yellow going white, sort of thing. And so if they're getting plenty of nitrogen from the brown woods in the ecosystem, why are they eating the insects? You see, that's the next quick question. If you know where the nitrogen is coming from and that they're getting sufficient amount of nitrogen, how is it getting out of those brown woods? Then you've got to ask, the big question is, why are they carnivorous? Why are they eating the insects? Because they're obviously not eating them for the nitrogen. Otherwise the bog wouldn't be green, would it? All the plants around the CPs, they wouldn't be green. So anyway, so I'll go inside and get another one, and then we'll top the we'll cap the pot with some coir sort of thing. Actually, it's getting pretty late in the day. I might have to do it tomorrow. We're losing, as you said, we're losing the sunlight. So maybe tomorrow, fellas, I'll cap the pot and you can watch it then. Okay, but sorry I seemingly misspoke, maybe somewhat misled you. It wasn't, I was talking about, I've been into peat for so many years, you know, I'm getting old as well, and trying to do 3 or 4 things at once, and also talk to you at the same time, and promote and broadcast some knowledge, and the coming CP revolution. I may have confused it a little bit, but we're using coir here. Normally not quite as good as peat, and of course the Cresco coir